Ladies and gentlemen, the world's #1 sports and recreation podcast, Cheap Heat, is back. It is Wednesday, February 5th. If you're not a patron, you haven't heard us talk about the Rumble yet, we're going to get to that. You should be a patron because this week's episode was a banger that we dropped on Sunday. I'm your forever 24/7 champion, a.k.a. Father of Maya, a.k.a. maybe soon to be some new AKAs. We'll fill you in on that as time goes on. But right now, you're forever 24/7 Peter Rosenberg. I'm being joined in Philadelphia by the sweatered and slim looking today, although he claims not to have lost any weight, Statguy Greg.
Honestly, I have no idea. So I mean, I'll take it. If that's what you're seeing through your glasses, through the camera, that's being shown through my camera, then I'll take it.
There you go.
But there's just a lot of layers helping me out.
But it's just layers. It's layers and a good cut. You know, like you had a clean cut. Maybe that's what it is. The lineup's nice. And also from his dungeon adjacent in Staten Island, filling in for 37 at 35 Dipperstein. It's Emilio Sparks. Hey, Emilio.
Hi. I'm on Ozempic, so I think maybe that's what Greg's on.
The old Zempic.
The Zemp.
I just came up with that, the old Zempic. I just accidentally stumbled into it, the old Zempic.
You're a wordsmith, Peter Rosenberg.
Now, I just want to be clear. I would do Ozempic, like right now is when I would probably do it because I've been struggling to just like get myself back on track post-pregnancy. Like halfway through the pregnancy, I fell off.
You have to get yourself back on
That's right. Well, Natalie lost 10 pounds last week just living. That's not happening for me.
But you weren't the one that had a child inside.
SGG, you of all people. SGG, I know you of all people. When that day comes, when that wonderful day comes, when Crystal says it's happened, it's going down, and if you guys are blessed enough to go down that path and you choose to do so, my man SGG is going to put on 50 light work. SGG is throwing on 50 because when you have to roll with the cravings of the other person and the fact that they've now thrown everything out the window because they're just hungry, if you're busy and it's so hard to stay focused. So my focus just died over time. And then on top of that, she was miserable. So she's miserable. You're kind of miserable. Now the only way for me not to be miserable is a little ice cream.
All right. See, now we're getting somewhere. Without the deflection, now we're getting somewhere.
No, that's it.
I thought you were just trying to say, okay, we were pregnant. I thought this was a we were pregnant situation.
Listen, ask anyone. The dudes gaining weight is a very real thing. It happens, especially if you're already predisposed. And that's why I'm giving you a hard time, because those of us who respectfully are predisposed to packing on an LB or two, it's... Now, here's my question, SGG. I was giving SGG a hard time before we went on the air and asking him if he ever tries to lose weight, to which he said, no. Now, You've put on some LBs since you met Crystal. We won't even go back to when the Cheap Heat podcast started because you're literally, like Jamiroquai said, half the man you used to be, except in reverse.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fact.
You're twice the man you used to be.
That's right.
But I imagine you've put on a few LBs since you met Crystal. And here's what I'm trying to gauge from Crystal. So you're telling me at no point when you guys are sitting down, have a delicious Philly cheesesteak, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go in and have another half. She never would pull like the Jewish wife and look at you and go, you sure you need that, honey? You never catch you sure you need that, honey, from Crystal? I'm sensing she doesn't give you a you sure you need that.
No, well, here's the thing about that. Are you sure you need that, honey, gets thrown out? But I'm so comfortable with me, and like it's very hard to say something about me that I don't already know that's gonna then hurt my feelings or get under my skin. So I like, and you know this about me, I'm so comfortable that are you sure you need that gets thrown out, but I matrix it, so I never catch it.
What do you do?
I hit one of these on it, but it gets thrown out.
Which is almost a sit up. You know, that's almost exactly. One sit up right there.
I felt my core activate when I did that.
So would you react differently if your response or my mother's response to my dad would be this? Do you really need another chicken cutlet, you fat fuck? How would that react?
Give a shit.
Even if she threw in fat fuck.
Even if she threw in fat fuck.
But that wouldn't be the relationship he's in. By the way, no, this is how crazy SGG. No, this is what people don't understand about SGG. Listen, I hope to one day do this podcast about like life and SGG is the guy who needs to give you the life podcast. SGG is so lucky to have scored Crystal And I firmly believe if she threw that out at him, he'd be like, "Oh, word? All right," and just walk out the door. That's what I think. He'd be like, "Listen, I don't know how I scored her either, but I mean, obviously I got something going on, so I'm not going to sit here and get called a fat F."
My mother throws insults at my dad. My dad's 77 years old.
Wow, he's catching
through
them?
the roof. Yeah, she's just like he's big, so he's on the Zempic because he has a myriad of other.
He's
health
on the old
problems.
Zempic?
He's on the Zempic, but not because of any dietary things. It's because his A1C's through the fucking roof.
No, the reason that they actually made it originally, supposedly.
Yeah, but my old man is not losing weight because of the Ozempic.
It's
If
not
anything,
it's not
he
making him-
gained 5 pounds.
It hasn't
Like,
made him lose.
legit-
It hasn't made him lose weight.
No, he gained 5.
Doesn't
That's-
it take a while though?
I have no idea, but all we know is like, like, dude, put down this, maybe do this, go for a walk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh man!
So,
All right, here.
but my mother doesn't do it with kid gloves. My mother, like, one time he was getting out of the shower and tracked water all over the floor. She's like, the fucking fat whale from Atlantis has got a fucking.
Oh
water
my
all over."
God!
Oh, she is.
Hold on.
Yeah, she's brutal.
She
brutal.
called him the fat whale from Atlantis.
Yeah, she's brutal, bro. Brutal.
See, there's levels between Crystal, who doesn't even say, "Are you sure you need another one?" To the fat
Where
whale.
would Natalie lean? Would she lean
no.
somewhere in the middle?
Oh,
Or would she
Natalie's
call you the whale from Atlantis?
At this stage, listen, I don't think she would ever. Natalie's so sweet. I don't think she'd ever get to fat whale from Atlantis. But the stage we're at now is, hey, honey, you've been having a lot of sweets this week. Are you sure? Like, oh, you have Royal Rumble this weekend. You sure you want to keep having? That's it. She will just say, "Are you sure?" She knows I know. But then last night, for example, when I should not be having dessert on Tuesday, I walked in last night to bring her something, and I was carrying a little thing of milk, and I had my mom brought these like blondie brownie combo things a few weeks ago, and I had one of them in my mouth, but my hands were full. So I'm holding 2 drinks with a brownie in my mouth, and Natalie's response is just hysterical laughing and starts filming me because she can't believe I'm walking around with a brownie just half out of my mouth like nothing's going on. But generally, she is very good. She knows I'm thinking about stuff and I'm caring. And if I'm giving up on it, it's not that I'm like not trying. It means I'm like struggling with it that week. So she's good at pointing it out and just being like, "Hey, just letting you know I'm noticing." But like, you do what you're going to do.
Well, let's put a pin in this conversation and circle back in 45 years, like my parents are married together, and then we'll see whether or not the insults are getting thrown around.
By the way, I don't want to get in trouble with Dip. But speaking of put a pin in and circle back, I called Dip about a business thing yesterday.
Oh no!
I called Dip about a business thing yesterday, and it was a call that went well. And I'm like, "Yeah, this call went well." He said he's going to get in touch with this one, and Dip all of a sudden was just like, I can't take it anymore. I can't take the circling back and I'm going to talk to this one. Why can't anyone just make a decision? Why does everyone? I was like, Dip, I've never heard this from you. Have you? You're in the your whole career is based on circling back. I can't believe Natalie. You've never heard him sound like that, have you? It's like all of a sudden. All of a sudden, it's like he'd had enough of the industry to which he's given his life, and he was just apoplectic about circling back. But Dip now is in a better place. No, he's not dead. He is in New Orleans with Mr. Seth freaking.
Oh yeah.
By the way, if people didn't see it, I think I don't care what
everybody in the Discord knows.
Oh, they do?
It's in the trades.
Yeah,
people who can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys realize this. It started out, just to point out, Dip represented Peter Rosenberg. Okay? Now he represents Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And he also represents Seth freaking and Rebecca freaking Quinn Lynch. That's
all champions, by the way. You weren't just his first. You weren't just his first pickup that he represented. You were his first champion. We're not gonna forget that.
Let's never forget. But my man is kind of rolling right now. So Dip is down there. He went to the Super Bowl with Freakin', who's doing some appearances because the Freakin' loves the football.
Oh, so, Kobe loves the football.
Oh, there it is. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, you heard it?
I heard it.
Did you hear it?
Should I do? Oh, you know what I should use? Or would you? I just introduced this to the K show because Alan Hahn does quite a bit.
No, which show?
Yeah, what
Oh.
show? That's not the K
It's
show.
so crazy, right? So
Yeah,
crazy.
Hans, Franz, and Rosenberg.
Yo, you guys realize? I know I mentioned this. You realize, Emilio, that one of the trades when they wrote about one of the dirts when they wrote about the conversation that Syph and I had about CM Punk said that I revealed it on my show, Hans, Franz, and Rosenberg. So when I announced that the show was called Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, Syph, in a very funny, quick moment, goes, Hans, Franz, and Rosenberg? He's like, whatever your show is, Hans, Franz, and Rosenberg. And one of the wrestling dirts that talked about what we said the show was called Hans, Franz, and Rosenberg. All right, so here's what I introduced for Alan Hahn, because he does a bit of this on the K show. Do we need this for, you tell me, do we need this SGG?
Yeah, I was gonna say E's too close to it. I'm gonna be
for when Emilio does his government name drops.
Drop. Absolutely.
Yep.
Mr. Real Name Dropper.
Yeah.
Drop.
All right, let's get to the wrestling of it all. How do we not talk about the Hulkster on Pat McAfee? This was the funniest. Some of these things aren't funny, right? We're talking about a serious thing here. The reasons that we don't like the Hulkster are real and serious. But that doesn't mean that funny things don't happen within that, because sometimes when this man chooses to talk, he says things, SGG, that literally I don't understand the lack of self-awareness. It's like, is it more just like if you completely lie and pretend, you'll be fine? What do you think it is?
I think that the man is legitimately, certifiably insane, and whatever this mental illness is that he has, it needs to be named after pro wrestling, because he is on another planet, he's in another world, and he's still trying to sell people something that at this point no one is buying.
The American dream, brother. That's what I'm selling them.
It's truly absolute psychosis and madness, and not macho madness, the good kind of madness.
When he got on the stand and said that he didn't know the difference between Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan and where that line was, and got off, that's when everybody should have been like, okay, we need to pack this up.
It's a carny hustle, though. Most of those old timers are like that. They're all like that. Have a conversation with any one of them from the late 70s and 80s. Like, they all have this like similar weirdo mentality.
This is different. Like, I don't know that we've seen just like anything quite like this.
Yeah, but the one thing is, I was talking about the beer. We're in a relationship with the WWE. They're my partner in this thing, and I had to be a good guy in LA.
Yes.
Now, if this was for wrestling, and they turned on me like that, I'd have turned into Hollywood Hulk. And I said,
Oh, hell yeah.
So you hate me for everything I've done for all the Make-A-Wish kids and everything I did for your kids. Well, guess what? I did it for the money. and by the way, since you want so much hatred coming your way, I hope you have a good time when Kamala Harris, is your new governor, and you're all standing in the soup line. Mic drop. See you.
Jeez Louise.
But I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I was ready. I was ready to go after him.
Well, I thought it was very professional of you to remain positive, because I was listening to it, and you're much more mentally tough than I am. But you've been, obviously, 40 years into wrestling.
Pat could teach a class on like staying in the middle with people. Because I want to find the other clip where he asks about what happened. And Pat clearly points out they didn't like you, and it's because of the politics.
I think it was right before that clip.
It's right before that. But then he manages to he does a good job of getting guests to keep talking and can put out that he doesn't, necessarily agree with everything. But you know what I'm saying? He just walks this line. It's something. Let me see if I can find that clip, though, because that was the one. Now, what he just said was delusional. Here it is. Don't get me wrong, that was already delusional. I would have turned heel. This is what I would have done.
Yeah.
The whole thing is By the way, that whole gimmick of him saying, I did it for the money, it's not.
We know, first of all.
We all
we know.
Like, no, we know. You understand it's like not really work. It doesn't really work in the same way when everyone knows that's the actual truth. What makes it interesting and funny when a heel does that is when you know they're not like that. All right, here's we believe the clip. I think this is the clip we wanted to play.
I think the politics had a whole lot to do with it, like you said.
I would say, yeah, I would assume you get into
But, bro-
politics and also some other stuff,
Yeah, of course. But at the end,
Yeah. I mean, when you're in a public eye for 40 years.
yeah, you do slip and fall a couple times.
So that's the most Hulk is kind of ever willing to say.
Right.
Slip and fall a couple times.
When you're in the public eye, even though it happened completely in private, and he sued because it was supposed to be an invasion of his privacy and not ever meant for the public eye.
But right. But I would argue, but it did get public because he's in the public eye.
If you watch the whole thing, his eyes, he has crazy eyes. Like the
Oh,
entire
really? You
time,
think?
they're
Look
just
at
like
this.
bugged
He
out
looks
and
insane.
big and just like erratic, filled with lies.
Yeah.
The lies are in the eyes, brother.
We kind of looked at it the next day because, I had like 11 billion impressions, and some of the other guys, some of the big stars that were on that car that night only had like 3 billion. I don't name names, but, we were
So you were like,
oh, yeah.
Hulk Hogan was booed out of the building in embarrassing fashion to a degree that no one can even fathom. And he just got on Pat McAfee's show and said that it was a good thing because he got more impressions than other supposedly big superstars. So not only did he turn his horrifying appearance into a win for him, he simultaneously buried current popular talent, or tried to.
And also the number that he decided to use is so astronomical. More than one impression for every person on the planet. By the way,
I
11
watched it 3 times.
11 billion.
Man, I'll tell you what, though. Hulk Hogan, guys, he's like the perfect metaphor for this country. Everything could be better if you just took ownership of what was bad.
Mhm.
But instead of taking ownership for what's bad, you have to just lie over and over and over. It's such a nightmare to live that way, guys. Like, anyone out there who's listening, if you're living in lies like that, how tiring it is. Like, that's America. We promise to be land of the free, home of the brave, all those things. We're not. We had some good intentions. We fell flat on a lot of them. Rather than ever acknowledge that so we could do better, we pretend we've just hit it out of the park on everything, thus never allowing us to improve in the ways that we need to, landing us where we are now. Hogan's the exact same. All he ever had to do was own his shit. That's all he ever had to do. And by the way, I swear to you, I know it sounds impossible to imagine. If Hulk Hogan had owned it, sat down, done the right interview in the right place, seemed remorseful, been explicit about what he did wrong, and really like had a hard conversation, he'd be completely getting cheered again now.
Yeah.
Everyone, all of us, no matter how mad we were, we probably at some point would have been like, you know what, though, after he sat down and had that conversation with this person or that person, I really felt like, and then maybe because of that, how about this? Once he would have had the conversation, the positive reinforcement would have encouraged him to do more good things. He would have actually become a better person.
You think about it this way, right? Like, you even think about it from a presidential standpoint and just even certain celebrities that slip and fall, brother. They've all had these charmed lives for so many years that they get like the carpet rolled out underneath their feet and, they think they're infallible. But then when you're on camera and you say disgusting, putrid things,
Right.
you don't take ownership for them. Well, what do you think the reaction's going to be? It's not because of your political leanings. It's going to be about the filth that came out of your mouth.
Exactly.
And how you genuinely feel about another group of people.
Exactly.
I don't know if I could ever, even if he did the rehabilitation, I don't know if I could ever be like, oh, I'm going to forgive him.
I don't know
He
either.
shaped my childhood.
I don't know.
I'm good. I'm good.
But listen, you say that. My only point is this: even if that's how you feel right now, if he had actually done a good job and done something meaningful, you don't know how it would have affected you over time. That's all. And you don't know.
It comes from a genuine place, like where somebody genuinely says, yo, I screwed up. I'm going to take the steps to rehabilitate. And then you take the proper, protocols to do these things. You donate sums of money. You go into inner city communities. You listen, you learn, you move on. If you're not going to do that, and if it's just all like face value and you're just doing it on a surface level just to make sure your beer sells or whatever the case may be.
Right.
I mean, you got to think of it this way. You have other individuals in TNA that never owned up for what they said. And now they're being paraded as a main focus of a program. So it's like, are you damned if you do and you damned if you don't in regards to being a good person? Because, hey, if you're not the nicest and you're scummy, oh, well, you're still going to get the red carpet rolled out. We're still going to promote beer and we're going to put you on Impact. Sadly, no actions have consequences anymore.
Very rarely, if you're someone who generates money. But listen, it's weird when it finally happens, right? Like, well, if for those who don't pay attention, and we'll get to the Raw and the Rumble and all of it right now. God, we've been doing this for 20 minutes already, rambling about God knows what. We should talk about the wrestling. But like if you follow hip hop at all, a million horrible things have happened with DJ Academics. And only recently, in the most recent horrible thing that he did it seem like, it seems like there may be some blowback. Now, is it going to be full-time permanent blowback? Probably not. Probably not. Like 2 days later, I still saw people posting his content, moving his link around. Like no one stands on any business anymore. But sometimes when you think that someone's made it through the clear, they get cocky. They think they'll never get taken out. And then they do even something else and still it ends up happening. But I would say the message we've been getting in America, particularly in the last year, is there are no consequences. As bad as you want to be, you can tell everyone you're bad. You can literally just completely telegraph, I'm going to be a horrible, bad person. And people are like, I don't know, I kind of like that. Like, at least they're honest, unlike these other people who are dishonest about it. It's like, I've had some personal arguments in that way about politics recently, man, that like, this false equivalency thing. Oh, you always post about Trump. What about all the Democrats that are bad? I'm like, okay, bro. I get it. All politicians are sneaky and this and that. I get it. There's some sort of connection. You don't see the difference of what's going on here? You're choosing. You are choosing willful ignorance. If you're going to compare Nancy Pelosi to the people that Donald Trump are putting in his cabinet, and you're like, well, they're all politicians, bro. It's the laziest, dumbest take of all time.
It translates to the wrestling world as well, where everybody's all up in arms on the internet that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble.
Is that a real thing?
Oh yeah, Greg, have you seen that? It's
only on the internet, and to me, it's not real.
But it is on the internet. I'm just
it is on the internet.
Okay.
No, it's very real though. You have to acknowledge that because there is because there is.
It has no impact on my enjoyment because it hasn't affected the show at all. His music hits, and he's the most overact in the company. His entrance is fire. I still enjoy his matches, and so if I'm gonna give power to what's on the internet, that's a mistake of mine.
Right, but here's where I call like a hypocrisy, not from you, but just from these certain accounts that make their bones on the internet and then say the internet isn't real and just go and enjoy the show. Well, if that's the case, then shut your account down and just be a fan. But
that's a false equivalency, and I'll tell you why, right?
How so?
Because there are accounts who are saying, the accounts who are like, just enjoy the show, aren't trying to manipulate the show and shape it in the image of what is being pushed out on their account. So the difference between the internet fans who are saying Jey isn't real and he doesn't have the move set and he's being over pushed is that that's supposed to be their dislike of Jey is supposed to be some evidence that he's bad and doesn't deserve the spot that he has. And that's not real. versus somebody being on the internet and saying, I see the show and I'm going to review what they put out about it, whether I like it or I don't like it. It's not a reflection on what somebody deserves or has earned. That's two different things.
Well, in a utopia on X, yeah, you would think that that's a nice way, but like the coin does flip depending on the person's probably like taste or the booking, where two things we know, right? One, Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. And it was deserving of that because of the work he's been putting in the last 2 years and really carving this lane and getting out of the shadow, quote unquote, of how they wanted to set up the story of his older cousin. Okay, we know that. But then the other flip side is you can be critical of the decision because you might not like moveset or whatever the case may be. But to really question the validity of someone's like grind and hustle blows my mind, where they're just like, well, it's just a hand gesture and it's just like, you know, and it's cultural appropriation in the hip hop.
That's the third thing that I don't even care to pay attention. Because like you said, if you don't like Jey for whatever reason, you don't have to. You can express that online, whatever. But to say that he doesn't belong there or try to use other people online who also don't like him and try to say that there's a movement against Jey and that their movement needs to dictate what's happening on the show. There's people that are enjoying the show exactly as it is. Look, why should that vocal minority get to take that away from the people who show up and actually are in the arenas, buying the tickets, enjoying the show?
Because I'll say this, and I think we all know this. Companies that say that they don't listen to the internet, listen to the internet. Peter, you were there. How is the pop for that guy when he came out?
For Jey?
Yeah.
Very solid.
That's all that you tell me. That all I need to know right there.
Yeah.
It's this generation, this era's Yes movement.
I would say so I brought up the Yes movement on the post show.
And Kofi Mania.
Where is it? I think it is. I feel like Yeet. I feel like the Kofi, I mean the Jey thing. Tell me what you guys think. I think it's bigger than Kofi Mania and not quite as big as Daniel Bryan. I feel like it sits between them. I mean, this is nitpicking. They're all very close, but just in terms of like the level of reaction, Kofi didn't have a cute hand gesture to go with Kofi Mania. So it's kind of unfair.
The problem too for Kofi is that, and I think Daniel Bryan, and why I would give the story to like the edge to Jey by just like 0.2 percentage points, right? Like very close, razor thin margins, is because this moment was built out of that bloodline story where people really followed Jey and watched him go from like, oh damn, I don't have my brother, I'm trying to make it, I'm getting put down by my cousin. Now I'm like have Stockholm syndrome where I'm like this rabid dog loyal to my cousin. And that cost me my friendship with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn took my titles and now my cousin sees no value in me. And now I'm got this self-confidence from Sami Zayn to where I'm not going to take it. And I branch out on my own, but my own brother doesn't want to see me succeed. So now I have to let go of him and the whole family and make it on my own. And then he makes it. We've been through a lot with Jey.
No, a lot. So you're
right. But what I'll push back on a little bit, while it's the family dynamic that wasn't accepting of him once he lost this particular thing, for Daniel Bryan, for me, the Yes movement is huge. It's the onus of a company did not have faith nor value in you. So I think you could say, yeah, like 1A, 1B, they're all three of those have like monumental success and real pivotal moments within the company and the championship.
But all of this started with the fact that there are people on the internet who didn't like it. I guess what I'm trying to gather is, what didn't they like?
I don't think they like the fact that you have Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, John Cena, and CM Punk in your final four, and you pick Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble.
But no, those guys weren't the final four because
no. But what I'm saying is your final four for who you want to see get a shot at Cody or Gunther.
But
those are your guys.
But that's what made it interesting. That they don't understand what makes it interesting.
Yeah, that's like, exactly.
Like I don't understand. We finally got a Rumble winner that, while he was a dark horse, was not the obvious pick, and it happened in awesome fashion, and it makes perfect sense, and we're still going to end up getting Cody and Cena in all likelihood. And by the way, Jey is probably the best use of the Gunther story right now. Because like I told you guys, I really love Gunther. I think he has a very bright future. I don't think his story is lighting the world on fire right now. I think he will really be best served being the mountain for Jey Uso to climb. Like, that is the best way to use him at this moment. So I don't know. I just don't know what people are mad about. I don't get it.
People's problem is that they fantasy book, and then the further WWE gets away from their fantasy, the more upset they get. And Jey Uso was not a lot of people's pick to go to the Royal Rumble because, I mean, wrestling fans, like, we're sort of short-sighted, right? Because we don't see how they're putting these pieces together. We don't see where the end game is. We think that the end game has to be at WrestleMania. And so we shortcut these people to these spots with the Royal Rumble. And nobody, like, we just really don't know. If Cena's going to get 17, does it have to be at Mania? Can it be at something else? Does something more interesting happen? And we say the same thing about Punk. He wants that WrestleMania main event. Maybe he gets it without a world title being on the line. We don't know.
Now, in all honesty, do you feel Gunther versus Jey Uso is a main event WrestleMania match?
No.
Close the show? No.
Not the main event of the weekend. No.
Are you getting, you think night one is more appropriate?
It depends. I gotta see what else they're gonna do.
Because last year, didn't the big gold belt open night one or night two? I forget which night it was.
It did, but you had a tag team match on night one where 3 champions competed in that match. You had the WWE Undisputed Champion in Roman Reigns. You had the World Heavyweight Champion in Seth Rollins, and then you had the People's Champion in The Rock, and the uncrowned People's Champion.
All right, so let me ask you this then: do you, Statguy Greg and Peter Rosenberg, look at the big gold belt as an equal championship to what Cody Rhodes is holding?
No, because it's been like a year and a half.
No, but it doesn't matter. But if there's a person that adds equity to the championship, then the championship should be a focal point on the show that the belt is featured on. So I can understand where Peter is saying, not too much. I can understand what Peter's saying where Gunther isn't really having these like incredible storylines, great matches, but not incredible storylines because he's not setting the world on fire because he's not really a focal point on Monday Night Raw. Now, the focal point of Monday Night Raw has been guys like Jey Uso, CM Punk, freaking, so like
we love the freak.
We love the freaking. So we have to put the belt, we have to shift the belt now. And the belt should go to, in my opinion, Jey Uso at WrestleMania. But is it a main event?
I don't think in the end it will be they will have to put it in the main event slot because I think he's main event Jey Uso.
Yeah.
The point of Royal Rumble is to win in main event WrestleMania.
That doesn't often happen, though. In fact,
it doesn't.
It's a high percentage of the time that it doesn't happen.
That both the men's and women's, that neither match ends up.
Yeah,
neither.
I mean, did Nakamura main event WrestleMania when he won in 2018?
No.
There you go.
It closed out with Roman and Brock.
So in other words, the term main event means nothing. Essentially,
it's advertisement, right? So like these are the marquee matches. We're going to put this on the billboard. You get the main event, quote unquote. But yeah,
the bottom line is there are 3 people who have to appear in a main event this year. Those people are Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena. I don't know who the 4th person is necessarily going to be, but those 3 guys are going to be in the matches at the end of Saturday and the end of Sunday. It has to be.
I could see Roman, Punk, and Seth in a main event triple threat.
Me too. And that's as we talked about. It could be that because you'd think Punk would be in a match too, but it's not guaranteed in the same way. Like there was a world in which if they hadn't sort of rushed through Seth and Punk, there's a world to me, SGG, in which Seth and Punk would have had an awesome match that didn't main event either night. Just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe the opener one night, and it would have been awesome, but not the main. Maybe we get the the triple threat here. What did we learn on Monday, SGG? What did we glean from CM Punk and Seth Rollins in terms of where this thing could be going?
I'm honestly, I didn't glean much. I still don't know. I know that they still don't like each other, and there's definitely more story to be told. But what I'm curious about, because we saw Seth, cut a promo right before Punk's match with Sami Zayn, that he then won to go on to the Elimination Chamber. But Sami, right? What does that mean for him? I thought that Sami would start to plant the seeds and emerge as Jay's first challenger, but he seemed super supportive about Jay winning the Royal Rumble, and he showed no signs of a heel turn, so much so that Monday Night Raw closes with him being the latest victim of a package pile driver. So I don't know what they're gonna do with Sami Zayn and how that's gonna play out for Kevin Owens.
Natalie, I'm in the middle of doing a podcast. She just comes over to me, opens a laptop, pointing to a picture of a pizza, and just starts talking. What are you talking about? What?
Talking about pizza.
She wants pizza.
Wait. Are you trying to say it's Giordano's?
Giordano's, yeah. It's 3 of them for $70 at Costco.
So we just got a Costco membership, and she's showing me. What are you talking about? Like the Super Bowl or something? What are you trying to say?
Ooh, good idea.
Is she saying Giordano's or DiGiorno's? Because I don't think they got.
She's saying Giordano's.
Are they DiGiorno's though?
No, they're Giordano's. She couldn't pronounce it, but what she's trying to say was Chicago's own CM Giordano's.
Okay, all right.
So
this is what marriage with kids now is. You get Costco membership. You guys are eating. You have brownie hanging out of your mouth. You're giving glasses of milk and ice cream.
Look how cute Rocky is in the background behind me.
This is what is going on here? Like,
come here.
Remember when you were cool?
Oh no! By the way, I'm telling you though, I didn't. By the way, Natalie didn't hear last week's episode, so we'll keep it on the low down. But it's yes, I am a dork now, but I also do now give the Zaddy vibes. That's the weird conundrum.
Oh boy, she's gonna punch you in the face, buddy.
Babe, I'm telling you, there's an energy that I get from the world now. I'm getting Zaddy vibes from people. They see me and they're like, "Ooh, who's that?" The stewardess on my flight. I could tell. I was like, she's treating me like I have Zaddy vibes.
Wait until I go outside.
Do you think she knows that you were the forever 24/7 champion? Is that what it is?
Maybe, but did you hear what Natalie just said?
Nah.
Now this is a direct quote from Natalie. Wait till I go outside. Wait.
That's very Queens.
You're gonna see what happens when I go outside. I'm not saying, babe, you already had. See, the thing is, she doesn't understand what's interesting about it. Natalie's been hot.
True.
It doesn't
ask her if, because she's doing the bounce back right now, ask her, is it hot girl summer?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, big hot girl summer energy.
Hot girl spring first.
She's trying to get to hot girl spring, she said first. So
WrestleMania vibes.
yeah, she wants to be ready at WrestleMania. By the way, there's a chance that Maya will be making her debut at WrestleMania. Can you imagine?
Let's go.
She has to. Come on.
Can you imagine the heat and greet? Maya coming. Do you know the kind of gear she'll be wearing?
Can we hold her up like they did in The Lion King, like when they presented the child and everybody had to bow?
Yeah, of course. Svenja Menenisinawa.
Speaking of, we have details for a heat and greet for the people, right?
Oh, SGG, do you have them in front of you?
Yes, I can pull it up right now.
We do have. Now, listen, I don't know whether or not we're also going to be trying to do a live podcast. Perfect World will do a live Cheap Heat, but as of this moment, we don't have that yet. I only currently have the heat and greet info, and we are combining ourselves with the great Wrestling for Sale again.
That's right. At the Palace Station Casino.
Which by the way, we love Palace Station.
That's the one we usually go to, right? Tailgate
yes.
Social.
The Tailgate Social, man.
Love that place.
Tailgate Social. It's Friday. It's the Friday of WrestleMania. It's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. As we get closer, we will let you know whether we look more like the 11 a.m. or more like the 4 p.m. We'll let you know.
I'm feeling like closer like the 12:30 p.m.
Well, it depends, because if I'm on the radio, then no. But I'm hoping to take that day. Because guess what? Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something real quick, Disney. Let me talk to you, ESPN, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This Zaddy vibes and this child bonding experience that I am given 8 weeks of. The days are getting used. I'm going to make SGG proud.
You have to. Yeah, please. You have to. You have to.
Disney.
Honestly, you should take some of those days and take some Disney passes and just make it like just do it up. I'm actually shocked that I don't know if you've used more of those passes. I know I haven't used as many of those passes as I would have thought over the.
You haven't used any? You haven't used any?
I've never been. I've never been to Disney.
So I've never been. So Syfe recently asked me for Disney passes, and I'm in the process of trying to find what I have for him.
Yeah, and whatever you don't have for him, you can throw some.
I can throw some to you.
Yeah,
But
are you a Disney guy, Greg? Like, are you a
of course.
Disney adult?
Yeah, of course.
Well, not hardcore. You're not hardcore. I've never heard of you go.
No, not like
You
Frank Clown or none of those people. But I'm
wear the mouse
definitely
ears?
down.
You do the mouse ears?
Nah,
No,
but I got like this Disney sweater that's fire.
I could see it. I could when baby SGG comes, I could see him going mouse ears. Anything's on the table at that point.
Yeah.
You never know at that point.
That's a fact.
But I'm gonna use these days, so there's a chance I use some of this. If I bring the baby, I might try to turn WrestleMania, instead of it being like the normal thing it is for me, which is hell on earth because I'm doing all my radio shows and all the wrestling. I might just be like, you know what? This year I take off radio and I just live the WWE life, and that way, at least during the day, I can do things like this. Natalie and I can do stuff with Maya. I can move around. And then when Saturday and Sunday come, of course, I'll be super busy. But the nice thing about Mania in Vegas is, and you know, Vegas is my favorite destination for Mania. I'm one of the 12 people that was rooting. I was rooting for Minneapolis. But listen, shorter flight. The time difference isn't as crazy for doing other, like if I am going to work and stuff, the time difference out west makes it complicated. It's only an hour difference. Temperatures in the summer and in spring in like April 20th in Minneapolis, it'll probably be like 55. Kind of nice.
Gorgeous.
Throw on a jacket, like it's still kind of nice. And I just feel like less jabronis would be there. I feel like Vegas is going to truly bring out the jabroni casuals. Like that's
and also like these are not even the jabroni casuals. That's not who you have to worry about. The jabronis that were there for a Vegas weekend that are completely oblivious to the fact that it's WrestleMania weekend.
That too.
Right?
There's so much going. It's so crazy to think about how different things are in this era. Like SGG got down with the show in the last days of the old version of what it used to be like when we would go to Mania for radio, and we would do Radio Row, and there'd be like 5 shows, and they'd be actual radio shows. There'd be like 5 radio shows were there, right? And we, of course, got treated like the friggin' golden goose. And now at Royal Rumble weekend, they have full media scrums, and it's just like a whole different thing. And by the way, thanks to the doors that were blown off the hinges by myself and my weird-haired, now gimmick-infringing friend Sam Roberts.
Yeah.
We walked so WrestleFucks.com could show up at the press conference. Okay?
Did you get a fruit basket? Did you get anything? No
fruit basket.
A lot of WrestleFucks.
Oh,
It's a lot of WrestleFucks.
There's tons of them.
It's just all the same content. Everybody's doing the same.
There's a
shit.
lot. And listen, whatever gets the word out to more people it's good. And through the jabroniness, good people pop up. Right. You know?
Shout out to Adrian Hernandez.
Like shout out to Adrian, who's a great guy. And
good kid. Good kid.
And this week scored some really good content that people were talking about. And
he's one of my favorite content creators out of these weekends. Like I look for his stuff.
Really? Oh, that's
Queen of the Ring's good too. I like her too.
Shout to Queen of the Ring. Shout to Adrian Hernandez. There are good people, but there's also a lot of crap, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But my point is this: when you see me, and when
say
you
thank you,
and
Zaddy.
when you see. When you see me and you see Sam, another Zaddy, just say thank you, Zaddy. Because we were there. We were Sam and I were at the press conference the press conferences at the old Times Square Hard Rock restaurant. when they didn't have media. It would be me and Sam, and then the interviews we'd be waiting for were like the local news outlets. You know what I mean? Like it was. So it's a different time. But this was a long way of saying Vegas is going to be a happening. We're going to be at Tailgate Social that day. I'm considering whether we can make time. So that's Friday, right?
That's right.
Maybe the perfect world scenario is that if I don't work jobs that weekend, that maybe like Thursday we could also do a proper Cheap Heat live. But also I got to find out whether we're going to do stuff at the Fanatics
WWE
World because
I would like to.
I know you.
But I also.
I know I'm going to put it. You know what? Let's. I'm gonna. You know what we're gonna do right now on the show? You don't get this every day, but this is a special show. Let's see.
It's going down.
Yeah, it's going down. Let's see. Hey, Dep, how are you?
Hey, hi.
How you doing? We are on the Cheap Heat podcast.
Right. I figured, yeah. I love the podcast. Big fan of the show.
How's
Long-time listener.
How's Mr. Freakin'? Great guy.
I am at a stopover in Dallas.
Oh, you're Sans Freakin'
right now. I am at a stopover in Dallas, Texas.
Ask me how I feel about Freakin'. I still ain't forgive him. Both feet on my tribal chief. It was not right.
Lots of other things. Dallas Cowboys attire.
Have you seen any Von Erichs?
There's no Von Erich store. They must have closed it.
All right, listen.
Closed the Von Erich store.
Here, wait. By the way, it's unfortunate. They replaced the Von Erich store at the airport with just a MAGA shop. It's just MAGA merch. It used to be all Von Erich. So when you get to New Orleans and you see the powers that be from WWE,
yeah,
I'm being serious about this. I'm saying it on the podcast, so they may hear it, but I need you to deliver this.
Okay.
This year we've been decent for a long time. We've been very generous in giving. I'm going to make sure I make the work arrangements. We want to make sure we get like the prime WWE World interviews, at least a couple this year, like the couple of the prime ones. What are your thoughts?
We got to get this.
Main stage.
I know a guy or two.
Yeah, we know. We want main stage. We want one of the big names. I tell Greg Domino. No one told me about the Royal Rumble. Everyone's doing. Sam Roberts and Dave LaGreca sat down with the tribal chief. Like, there's a lot of things going on. We don't listen. We're all friends, but we don't want people to forget about what we're doing over here at Cheap Heat. You know what I'm saying?
And I know Sam and Dave's ones don't go up as high in the sky as mine. So that
no.
Don't you worry.
You got it?
Don't you worry, peckerheads.
All right.
We'll get our interviews.
Will you say hi to Freakin' for us?
Oh yeah, you already know.
All right. Goodbye.
And ask him if it had to be both feet. Because I still am not over that.
Those 2 feet was a lot of feet.
Yo, when he stopped with both feet, I said, "Oh damn!"
Oh, Colby had a lot of hate in his heart when he stopped.
No facts.
He really
hated in his
both
heart.
feet, bro.
That wasn't Seth. That was Colby.
That was bad intentions, is what that was.
Drop. He has to say it. So before we wrap up this weird episode of Cheap Heat, what were the other biggest? I really feel bad because the Patreon episode got we spent the whole time on the men's rumble and the brilliance that it was. And today we've talked about Colby, we've talked about Hulk Hogan, Dip and freaking, a lot of different things. What was the other biggest thing we've gotten post rumble? Has there been a lot of chatter about the Charlotte SGG, the Charlotte promo from Monday?
Not from what I've seen. Not from what I've seen, but I think it is. When she won, I personally was intrigued by the idea of her and Rhea doing it one more time at WrestleMania, one more time for another different title on the line, right? Because first it was the NXT title, then I believe was the SmackDown Women's title, and then now it's this title that didn't exist, I believe, when Charlotte got injured. So let's do it one more time. I'm down for another championship trilogy, but people are wondering about if she's going to go for Tiffany Stratton, if she's going to go back to NXT again and face Julia. I don't know. But for me, the big takeaway from the Rumble,
all right,
aside from the Jey Uso, the big one that we haven't talked about yet, and y'all know how I feel about Harley Race. That's my guy. But Kevin Owens may just be the toughest wrestler ever to lace up some boots. because
Let's talk about it.
boy, oh boy, there were about 3 or 4 times when I thought this man's going to a local medical facility before the Alabama Slam. And then I thought, we're never going to see him again. And he's back on Monday, still package pile driving people. I mean, it's ungodly, the level of toughness that it takes to go through what he went through Saturday and then come back Monday still with hate in his heart and ether for everybody else that he feels has wronged him.
I was absolutely mind blown by what those people did. I cannot believe. I just can't. I totally, both of them are psychotic lunatics. I mean, seriously, Cody too. They both,
Yeah.
I mean, the Alabama Slam though actually scared me. Like I was like, oh my God. There was so much talk about, Cody taking the corkscrew pile driver was like, that alone was like, oh my God. But honestly, the Alabama Slam might have been the craziest thing.
Yeah, it was. It was. And I'll say this too. Why I'm giving this title of toughest wrestler alive to Kevin Owens is because this is not the first time he's done this to himself in the ladder match. Like if you see a ladder match and Kevin Owens in the ladder match, you're going to be concerned for that man's safety and his opponent's safety because he takes it there every time. And then you see him and his posture, he stands straight up. He walks with no problems. He's good. Like you watch these other wrestlers, these old timers, like they have a little bend in their back. They might walk with the cane or they might walk a little slow. No, the brother is mobile and he's got great posture. He's still as fast and as strong as he was before that. He's the toughest man alive. Yo.
It's absolutely crazy, bro. And yeah, I just KO for he's a tough SOB.
Yeah.
Cody texted me during the post show. I was like, this post show is phenomenal. I was like, are you alive?
Yeah.
What are you saying right now? Thank you. And also, what is wrong with you? That is
he was great. He stepped over Kevin Owens when he was on the floor and he did the lat spread with the championship in the air on the table. He was good.
And people didn't expect Cody to be able to take it there either. So you're right. You got a props to Cody. He took it there.
Yeah, he was having himself a grand old time. That was a good match, man. I like that a lot.
No, listen, we got so overwhelmed, of course, because everything was so great. Yeah, Cody texted, outstanding post show. I wrote, thank you, you're the best, and also a complete psycho. I hope you're healthy and well.
What a top guy does.
Thank you for saying what needs to be said.
Thank you. It's still real.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message.
I just accidentally called Laura Stiles. Apology. Well, by the way, why did that go through on the thing? Wait, I called Dip. Can't talk to him. Get Laura's voicemail on the show.
I don't know, man. Whatever your setup is, we got to fix it because there's just a lot going on.
What, did something else happen today?
Dip is not one who likes to be.
I'm going to try this.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it takes some layers to get Dip.
Oh, look, now I'm calling Natalie and it's working. Answer, Natalie.
Yeah, this is going to be feedback.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
So weird. Thank you. So strange. When I called Dip, it didn't work. You know what? When it always makes perfect sense that Dip creates a technical problem that no one else has.
Right.
Considering every day he sits down to record the podcast, it's like the first day someone has asked someone to record. You've never seen anything like it. The sighing, the hemming,
the sighing, the huffing and the puffing and the
And if he had ever once just called me or Greg on a given day and been like, "Hey guys, I've got 15 minutes. What should I do to make this a better process?"
Yeah.
SGG
I sent him equipment with the most detailed instructions I could possibly think of to how to get it going. I think the email is still like has that blue dot for unread.
Oh yeah. He never looked at it once.
I walked him through the process over the phone. Y'all watched me do it.
Yeah.
There's no hope. There's no hope when it comes to Dip and technology. The only thing worse than Dip dealing with technology is Dip trying to drive in a place he's not familiar. All right, I'm.
Oh, fingers in the face.
Oh, she's showing you more pizzas on the Costco website?
No, he has to go to work.
Oh,
That's how he makes the money.
Did you hear that?
that's true. Natalie,
ain't wrong.
there's two things I want you to consider now.
She ain't wrong.
Becoming a Disney influencer and trying chicken bakes and double chunk chocolate cookies at Costco, and then filming your reaction.
Oh, Natalie, yeah, you could be like the Boom guys.
Yeah, Natalie, how many booms is this chicken bake gonna
I-
get from Miss Hatton?
There's a girl on the internet. That does. She's called like Costco Ho.
Oh yeah.
And then she says like at the end, and it's fucking amazing.
I got to tell you guys, Costco Ho is actually kind of. Let me say this: Costco Ho is so much better than the Boom people.
Oh, well, I believe that.
Why the Boom people are so cringe? Why is it getting fed to me? The damn Boom people.
There was a Boom controversy over the weekend. Apparently,
Really?
he posted either a video or a picture, or maybe like tweeted something out holding the WWE title,
Wait.
and
no.
some phone calls were made,
No.
and that
I had to
picture
get taken
or
down,
video
but it was an
is
old picture
now.
though. But it was an old picture. It was before they
It couldn't have been that old. He had the new, but he had
Well,
the title that Cody has right now. I don't know
yeah,
how
but
old the picture was.
They probably came about. They only started with AEW like a couple
So,
months
do
ago.
they? So real quick, do they? Have
I thought the video was brand new, and it's either way, it's off the dude's page now.
but so
gone.
real quick, did the Boom people have an actual deal in place with AEW?
I mean, they're constantly on TV, so they probably have a per appearance thing. Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
my god! Like it's the worst, the most glaring difference right now between WWE and AEW has got to be celebrity guest. Like it may be worse than any other. Like when you just compare iShow's speed, Kai Cenat's ability to reach people, and then the Boom people, it's a huge fall. Oh, I got to tell you, I was pretty offended. I met Kai Cenat the other day, and then the next day he met Jay-Z and Beyonce, and he put up a video breaking down every moment of meeting Jay-Z and Beyonce. No mention of meeting Zaddy Rosenberg.
Because he didn't give you didn't give off the
Unbelievable.
Zaddy vibes to him. That's why it only works on stewardesses and other
But
people within
I'm
the
old enough-
Indianapolis area.
I'm old enough to be his actual Zaddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I by the way, I said such a boomer thing to him too. When I met him, I was like, "Yo, man, I like you, Kai." I was like, "They're like the only streamer I like." I'm sorry to be the old guy, but I really don't mess with streamers, but I like you. And I realized afterwards, I was like, that is such a boomer thing to say. Like, I don't like your entire industry, but I do like you. Now, I'm sure he's still flattered by it. I'm sure he likes that. He knows he's the guy people like and they don't like other ones, but it still makes me just seem so washed. But by the way, I am.
Yeah.
Here's something I want you guys to think on, and maybe you put it in the Discord.
All right, here we go.
Is Logan Paul working an angle for Kai Cenat? Are they going to wrestle one day?
I don't think so.
Did you see the verbal lashing he gave Kai Cenat at ringside? And then he was on his podcast and he was still talking about the verbal lashing and why he doesn't like Kai Cenat. Oh, there's a story going here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Well, then I think Kai would have to get someone physical to defend him. Kai is. Listen, even if he got himself in the best shape humanly possible, I don't know that he's going to be able. Logan is I really have to emphasize to y'all, this man is not a social media influencer. He just looks like a big ass wrestler.
He's an athlete. He's big. He's a big dude. He's gonna get the Brock Breaker. He's gonna be like, I need the Braun.
Yeah, maybe he gets Braun Breaker. Maybe there you go. Maybe that's something.
And then that ignites an Intercontinental Championship feud.
See, look at that. Listen, I don't know what we did today, guys, but listen, we love you. We hope you'll join us on the Patreon if you want to hear the more thorough Rumble breakdown. This was not meant to be like a teaser episode, but it does probably have the better breakdown. But there's a lot happening here in the world. And we'll have another Patreon episode this week. So come on. I'm not kidding around.
Yeah.
We got you. Take care of you. We'll see you on the Discord, or you can send your emails to rosenbergwrestling@gmail.com. May have a fun announcement for you guys next week. We'll keep you posted.
And for God's sake, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you doing? Come on. Those are free. Rosenberg Wrestling. All right, stay mage, guys.
Take it easy, man.